Hello and welcome to the third part of data transformations in Power Query Editor. So here we are going to check out how we can enable column quality and profiling through our customer lookup table. We are going to take that table and we are going to check out how these features work. So column quality and profiling basically are the options which are available under the View tab of Power Query Editor, which help us enable the graphical display of the quality of the column, like how many error rows are there, what are the missing values, and it also shows the distribution of your data, like how the profile of that column looks like. So it's an excellent visual tool, so you don't have to actually apply any analysis over there manually. Instead, you can just directly, by having a look at those column profiles and quality, you will be able to take an action, which otherwise if you are doing it manually, so you will have to go through each of the columns and analyze it by yourself. So let us go ahead and check that out. So I have opened my Power BI. So remember, for all the tasks that I'm showing you in this series, we have to keep on continuously using the same uh, uh, Power BI file. So here you can see the Power BI file is AdventureWorks report demo, which I was using. And here are the four tables in it, which I have used for my task number 1 and 2. Let us go ahead. So I'm going to click on the transform data. So this is my basic uh, Power BI front end, that is the report view. So when you want to go from front view to the back view of Power BI, which is Power Query Editor, please click on transform data. So I am going to click on transform data and it is going to open the Power Query Editor for me. Here you can see all the four tables are visible to us on which we have performed various tasks. Remember, these series of tasks that we are doing, the series of actions that we are doing on all these tables is going to shape our data set, and then we will be using the same for our reporting purpose. So don't do them in discrete files. Yeah, so I think we are ready to go ahead. So I will be performing this column profiling and quality related lookups in the customer lookup table. Okay, so no need to import any new table in this task. So just click on the customer lookup table and go to view tab. Okay, so here when you go to view tab, you're going to see all these options. Yeah, so you're going to see all these options over here, which enable us to have the visual clue about how the data in the column is distributed and what the column quality is. So let us go ahead and firstly activate the column quality. So I'm going to activate these icons one by one. You can keep them activated, so they will be activated for all your further data that you are going to import. So an excellent way to analyze our data. So here you can check out I have enabled it, and instantly such kind of messages, such kind of visuals start showing. So here we can see that customer key, it has 100% values. Here you can see in the prefix column there is less than 1% empty values. Okay, in all the other columns, I think the data is 100% accurate. With this green line also you can judge, the top green line below the column header also you can judge if there are any errors. So if there were any errors, this line will be slightly gray according to how much the error percentage is. So here we can check out that apart from the prefix column, none of the columns are having any visible errors or empty rows. So we can pay focus on our prefix column. Okay, so when you click on this, it is going to also show you the exact analysis of your error. So it shows me that there are 9 errors and there are around less than 1% of the uh, rows which have errors, and in total there are 9 rows which contain the errors. So here 9 rows, we can take a direct action that I can decide that, hey, let us delete those 9 rows. Why to go ahead and perform additional steps to deal with them? So I can decide to delete those rows as well. Okay, so there is an option. So always Power BI, it's an intelligent tool. So it will also give you an option to fix it. Okay, but remember, you have to use your experience in order to decide whether you want to carry on the action suggested by Power BI or not. Okay, so here in prefix column, we all know that some people don't have a prefix for a name, like they can use a Mr., Miss, Mrs., but some people could not prefer any prefix. So that is, considering this domain, that is a correct thing. Okay, that is not an error because of which this field is left empty. The other things, yeah, you can check out here. Only I can see a row which does not have a prefix, but all the other details seems fine. Okay. So yeah, so here is a, just giving you a kind of an example that how only by the judgment of this quality you cannot take an action and directly delete those rows or deal with those rows. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Now here we are going to see that how we can have a look at various uh, you know uh, other things. So here it is showing less than 1% data, but remember this thing is showed based on first 1,000 rows. Okay, so here you can see at the footer, column profiling is based on top 1,000 rows only. Okay, so out of those 1,000 rows, there are 9 rows which contain empty prefix values. But this thing does not give me a complete idea that hey, exactly how many rows are empty and what percentage of data is having this quality issue. So let us switch this profile to all the rows. Okay, so how do we switch our profile to all the data? So by default, Power BI considers only top 1,000 rows for profiling purposes, and because it just want to be fast and don't want to overburden its model by loading everything into our front view. But let us go over here. When you click over here, it will give you an option. Yeah, so you can see I have an option. The first option is by default selected, which is column profiling to be based on first 1,000 rows. Let us select the second option, which is column profiling to be based on entire data set. So let us have a look. Maybe when we select this option, it could uncover some other errors also. So I'm clicking this option. Yeah. So as soon as I click this option, you're going to see that there are, the customer key also started showing me the errors. So previously with first 1,000 rows, there were no errors. But here we can notice that there are less than 1% error. There are 5 rows which are empty, which are error rows in our customer key. Okay, so there are 5 error rows in our customer key, and it is asking us like whether do you want to remove those errors or what do you want to do with them. Okay, so yeah, so I can decide to remove them by clicking on this button, but let me also uncover what those errors are. Okay, so when you click on it, yeah, so this is 1% error. So this is a huge difference that is made into this one. And again, you can see this empty prefix value was empty. So only first 9 values were empty. But now you can see total 133 values are empty in the prefix row. Okay, but as we have discussed the logic that prefix could be a person can decide not to have a prefix. So it's actually real world wise, it's not a error. Okay, it's not a intended error. Okay, so we can decide to ignore this error. Okay, yes, going ahead with the first name. So again, in the first name there are 6 values which are having empty values, and again the same thing, empty, empty, empty values. So I think the same 6 rows are empty for all these columns. Yes, see here, 6 rows are empty out of our whole 18,000 data. Okay, so the same error is shown in all of this. So you can see how selecting this thing is very, very important in order to uncover the get the profile of the complete data set. Now let us deal with these errors one by one. So we have detected the errors in these columns after we have updated the profile, the view to full data set. And now we will remove errors. Okay, so we are going to eliminate the data which is erroneous data from the customer key because data is not too huge. So I can decide to remove that data. So I'm going to take my mouse pointer over it and I will click on remove error. Okay, so I'm going to click on remove error, or you can also decide to keep error. So when you see these 3 dots, so what these 3 dots help you, it helps you with dealing with the error, in what way you want to deal. If you directly want to remove the error, simply click over here and it will perform the action. But suppose like in the prefix column, I would like to keep the error. Okay, so as such no action is required, but when you select keep error, in that case this visual indication will be turned off. Okay, so whenever someone else is seeing this data, it will, Power BI's profiling tool will not notify them that there are some errors or empty values. Okay, so let us first go ahead and deal with the customer keys data. I'm going to click on remove and you can see instantly the errors are removed and we can see that these rows are being dealt with. Okay. Also, we can remove empty from here. So we can remove empty rows from the column customer key. So there is one empty row over here. So I can decide to remove it. So to remove it, just take your mouse pointer over it, remove empty. As soon as you remove this one empty, you will be able to see that all the other columns empty rows were dealt with. Okay, so in all, customer key had problems in the 6 rows. 5 of them were error rows and one of them was an empty row. And because of these 6 things, it was causing issue in the all the other columns. So we have dealt with it here. So now you will be able to observe that the empty counter of all the other columns have been 0. Okay. Now we come over here. As per our discussion related to this domain, I can decide to keep the errors. So just click on keep errors. Okay, so maybe I can decide to okay, so maybe they are already kept because that option is selected. Okay, yeah, so let it be. All right, so you can decide to keep the errors over here. So you can isolate the errors with rows with errors, so that it can allow you to extract the cause of the prefix column. Okay, so this thing is already being dealt with. So there are some empty rows which are already being dealt with. Okay, so this we are going to keep as it is. Now let us check out some other tools. So we are going to check out the column distribution tool. So distribution and profile tool is just for our observation, though don't let us identify any kind of quality related issues in our data. So here you can see, as I checked on column distribution, you will be able to see that how the data is distributed. So here, of course, this is the customer key. So it has 18,148 distinct values and all of them are unique because customer key is unique. Here you can see the prefixes. There are 4 distinct prefixes, which is Mr., Miss, Mrs. and something else it could be. And none of them is unique. None of them is unique means all of this data is appearing more than once. Okay. Similarly, for first name, you can see there are 666 distinct first names. 89 of the first names are unique. That means in my data set, there are 89 such names which are, never repeated. So this gives us an idea about the column distribution, how the columns are distributed. You can also see the bars, these bars which are there, their length is also varying. Okay, so it also shows, for the first thing, how much it is. So prefix, it is less than 1%. Okay, so the distribution is from highest to lowest in the alphabetical order. All right. Yes. So yeah. So let us go ahead with the next operation, which is having a look at column profile. So when you check the column profile thing, you're going to see the profile of the column. This thing is specifically important because you get all the statistical analysis here. So as such in Mr. thing, there is no, meaning of analyzing it statistically. But suppose I choose the annual income column. So in the annual income column, you will be able to see that it gives us all the details about, minimum, maximum, average, standard deviation, and all these things. Okay. So directly by clicking on it, it shows me the column distribution, that how many people are having income which is 60,000 and how many people are having which is income which is 1,60,000. So the distribution of the column, the values are also shown, as well as how many number of people have it, and the statistical summary is also given to us. Okay, so this tool gives us a very good way to have a visual look into our data to determine whether I need to take any actions related to data quality, and also have a look at its distribution and statistical things. All right, so we are going to save this thing. So you can click on, you can go to home tab, you can click on close and apply, because in some versions of Power BI, this save button is not available. So if it is there, you can just click over here. Otherwise, you can click on close and apply. So as you close and apply, all your changes that you have made will be applicable and will be saved. All right. So yeah, here comes the end of this task. Thank you.